Welcome back to CF Clips. This is the Canik SFX Rival. It does have the MeCanik MO2 Optic on it as well. Now, before we get into it comes in the box and all the goodies, let's talk about the pistol. If you are looking for a competition style pistol and you don't want to break the bank and have enough gadgets and gizmos that'll get you started right out of the box, then you've come to the right place. The Canik Rival up front has a nice red fiber optic sight. You have some very aggressive cuts right underneath the front of that slide as well. Not to mention lightning cuts on the slide just behind that, as well as some very deep and grippy slide serrations. And just so that way you know, this weapon has been cleared. All weapons are cleared before we ever start a video. It also has a nice fluted barrel right underneath those slide serrations and lightning cuts. You can see it through the actual serrations up top, which I personally think is pretty cool. Now, as you head back a little bit farther on that firearm, you can see that the barrel also has some matching cuts to kind of go with those actual serrations on the front and back of the slide as well. Now, we get to the optic. Obviously, this is Optic's cut. Now, in the box, they do include a couple of different Optics plates. You can see those right here. This particular one installs, of course, that MeCanik MO2. It's a 3 MOA red dot sight and is very crisp and clear and very clean. You get a very nice wide sight picture, which is always a good thing. Not to mention, if you actually look at the corners of each of the optic itself, they're like pinched a little bit out. That's going to help for fall protection. So they're going to fall and hit these corners and not bash in and cause that glass to break. You have a little bit of extra material on those corners to help alleviate a easy or quick break from a single drop. You have some brightness controls on the left or right of the optic itself, and then of course you also can have your battery on the underside of the optic. Now, it is mounted on an Optics plate. Even though this is MeCanik, which is made by or provided by Canik, you still do have to run a plate. Falling back just a little bit farther, Canik, and again, we are clear. On the back, Canik still does provide that red painted firing pin. It lets you know when this pistol is ready to be fired. You pull that trigger, and it goes away. A very nice feature, so you always know when your pistol is ready to fire. As we start to head down to that polymer portion of the pistol, you can also see that we have a Picatinny rail with 3 crossbar slots. It's going to help you mount most of those lights and lasers that you're going to want to put on the bottom of the pistol. You have a little bit of an exaggerated trigger guard here, which is going to help, especially if you're wearing gloves. You can get your finger in there and actually actuate even with a glove on. Now, before we get to that famous trigger, we're going to head up just a little bit farther. You have ambi, yes, ambi, not that other word. That other word you guys have told me not to use. Ambi slide release. It's very smooth and easy to use right out of the box, which I can't say about every pistol manufacturer. Sometimes those slide releases are just stiff at first and need to be worn in. Now, let's talk about that trigger. It's Canik trigger, and it's a Canik Rival trigger beyond that. It's a 90-degree break with a yellow trigger safety in there. So you pull it back, and you can see as we get to that about that 90-degree angle, boom. Very nice, very crispy trigger. And again, that release, nice, and I mean, you could feel it right away. I barely moved my finger, and then bang yet again. To cycle this, it is very easy. You could do it with the flick of a finger, quite literally. I guess you could say that about most pistols. Now, also on that side of the pistol is your mag release. This is the medium mag release they have on there. They do have some more options in the box. We'll get to that in a second. The medium mag release is quite nice. It does stand out just a little bit from the frame, which it does stick out from the frame just a little bit. Now, this is going to be great for competition because you're never going to miss a reload. You're going to be able to rack it and go. Some people may be worried about hitting that and accidentally dropping that mag when you don't mean to. That is where the other ones are going to come in. You have a smaller one that you can put on there. Getting down to the grip. There are grip adjustable portions, so you can take this off and actually put on a different grip. So I guess it's not adjustable, it's replaceable, might be a better way to put it. And then you have very aggressive or nicely aggressive, I would say call this a moderately aggressive texturing on the sides. Now on that front, you are going to have that same moderately aggressive texture, which is very nice and provides you a very firm purchase on the firearm. You're going to be able to put a lot of rounds downrange, even if it's sweating, even if it's hot, accurately with this pistol. Beyond that, you also have a flared magwell. The flared magwell, of course, is going to allow you to make your reloads a little bit more confidently. And if you miss just slightly, it's going to help guide you in so that way you never miss a reload. Now, let's set that down and talk about the extras that you get in the box, because there's quite a few. This was really the first time Canik decided to step up in their what they give you in the box. They have always given you, up until this point, they've always given you some really good features out of the box, like a holster, but they stepped everything up a notch. You get more cleaning supplies, and you also have this little pistol here, which is going to house all of your little bits and pieces and your screws and your screwdrivers so that we can take apart portions of the pistol. Can't show you that here, but we're going to move on. Cleaning supplies, as we mentioned, but also you're going to get 2 extra magazines, plus a mag reloader. It's going to be very nice and useful if you're loading a bunch of rounds. You get up into the 1,000 round category, your fingers are going to get numb. So having a easy loader is going to be very nice. You get a couple of bottom plates if you want to swap those out as well on your magazines, and one that's already on here, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate optics mounting plates. Now, one of these is actually housing the rear sight. So you do lose your rear sight when you mount an optic on this pistol. Now, it is a blacked out rear sight. It is very nice, and it is adjustable for competition. A very good feature overall. Speaking of competition, you do get a comp style holster. What's nice about this is it's nothing overly complicated. It's very simple. So if you're looking to go into a competition and you just bought this pistol, but you haven't got a chance to get a more preferred holster, whatever you want, you don't have to. You can just use this one. With that being said, Canik provides quite a bit of value for your money here. Your pistol is going to be top notch. It is a polymer frame 9mm pistol, but it is top notch. So in review, this particular one does come with the MeCanik MO2 Optic. You do have a 5-inch barrel that is fluted. You have some styling and cuts along the slide to help reduce weight, a 90-degree, very, very easy break trigger. You're also going to get 2 additional mags, plus the one that's in the gun. So 3 mags total with this particular package, and a holster that comes in the box. Not to mention those 2 extra back straps as well. So if you're on the market for a competition style pistol and you don't want to break the bank but get something super solid, the Canik SFX Rival might just need to be at the top of your short list. If you have any experiences with the Canik SFX Rival, please do leave a review down below. We would love to see your comments. That is all I have for you today. God bless. Stay safe. It is time to